Now we're going to move onto the joining roof plane, the one with the chimney. This side of the roof is too short to start with a full tile, so we'll start with a half tile. I've cut this in the middle of a cap section, leaving a 2-inch underlap, which will get covered by the tile that goes to the left of it. When I make this half tile, its exact length is not critical. I just have to remember that I need room on the left and the right to properly cut and fasten the valley and the gable tiles. So to make the half tile, I use the factory right side of a panel and then cut through the center of the second cap to the left, but the third cap might have been just as good. The factory right end is designed to give a good looking overlap onto the tile that will go down later on the right. The cut end or left end of this tile will get covered up with the tile that fits to the left of it. Start by labeling this LG for left gable. Measure from the half tile to the gable, leaving your tape a 1/4 inch from the wood so that the cut tile won't be difficult to install. Now measure for the right valley cuts. I'll have to use a slightly different technique to cut on this side of the valley because the chimney prevents me from laying the field tiles. So this first valley cut is the one I measured from the half tile. The measurements was 20 inches at the bottom and 33.5 at the top. This tells me that all the cut tiles in this valley will be 13.5 inches different between the bottom and the top measurements. So now I can cut all my valley tiles from those two measurements of the first course by just adding 13.5 inches to each tile up the valley. When you set up each new tile above the one that you just marked, just eyeball its position to make sure that you'll be able to get the 13.5 inches at the top. Now transfer the bend line at the top of the first tile to the nose of the second. And I want to carry my tape straight up to the back flange without sliding it side to side. Let's look at that move again. I do that by using my soapstone like a gun sight, keeping it aligned with some vertical feature on the tile. Then I mark the top of the new bend line by adding 13.5 inches and draw out the lines. Again, transfer the bend line to the nose of the new tile. Carry the mark up and measure 13.5 inches over. You want to mark up this whole sequence of tiles before you do any cutting. Lay out the marked tiles in the order that you want them to fit on the roof. Now cut and bend all the tiles, keeping them in order. And carry them to the roof stacked in the order that they'll be laid. The cut that goes in the top will need some modification to fit the ridge, so I'll do this one when I finish out the ridge. After you've laid the cut tiles in the valley, you can measure from the side laps of those tiles to get the measurements of the tiles that fit around the chimney. Install the left gable cut. Now you can see why we kept the factory right end of the first half tile for this overlap.